honorable panel of judges, a fellow audience, and my honorable opponents. My name is Issa, and I'm representing the Prime Minister of today's debate. And I would like to inform that the opposition wants us to ignore science, even as a climate change threatens our food, our farmers, and our future. But we in the proposition believe in solutions. That is why we proudly support the motion. This House believes that genetic engineering should be used to create sustainable crops that can withstand climate change. Now, let's begin by breaking down the motion. We define genetic engineering as the use of scientific methods to modify the DNA of crops to introduce beneficial traits such as drought tolerance, heat resistance, or pest resistance. We define sustainable crops as those that are more resilient to environmental stressors and require fewer resources like water and pesticides to grow. This motion supports using genetic engineering specifically for climate resilience, not for superficial enhancements or commercial gain. We focus on science that supports sustainability and mostly food security. Right now, traditional farming methods and natural breeding techniques cannot keep up with the rapid pace of environmental changes. Meanwhile, genetic engineering still exists. It's already been used to create drought-resistant maize in Africa, pest-resistant cotton in India, and rice that survives floods in Asia. But global use is still limited to fierce stigma and lack of policy support. Now, we support governments and agricultural bodies investigating and approving the safe use of genetically engineered crops designed to withstand climate threats. This includes A, funding and research into climate resilience, GM crops, especially for regions most affected by climate change. B, clear safety regulations and environmental impact assessments before rollout. C, training and support for farmers to use these crops responsibly. And finally, D, transparency and public education to fight misinformation about genetic engineering. Our burden is to show that genetic engineering, when used ethically and safely, can significantly improve crop resilience and food security in the face of climate change. We don't need to improve what is perfect, just that it's better than the unsustainable and fragile status quo. Now, we assert that genetic engineering is essential for developing crops that can survive the harsh effects of climate change, especially in drought, extreme heat, and new pests or diseases. Let's look at some 3 key ways of how technology can help. A, climate change, drought tolerance. Climate change is causing more frequent and severe droughts. When water becomes scarce, crops yield drop dramatically, leading to food shortages with higher prices. With genetic engineering, we can create crops with deeper root systems and improved water efficiency. This means that plants can survive longer with less water and keep producing food even during dry seasons. And also, global temperatures are rising, and traditional crops can't handle the heat. High heat can damage plant cells, slow growth, and reduce productivity. Now, take the water-efficient maize for Africa, for example. Project has produced drought-tolerant maize varieties using genetic engineering and increasing yields up to 35%. If we adopt this technology responsibly, we can secure foods for millions, protect ecosystems, and help vulnerable communities to adapt to climate shocks. Now, in conclusion, climate change is already reshaping the way we grow food. If we don't act now, millions will grow hungry, but genetic engineering gives us a way forward. If you agree to this, then you see eye to eye with the government team.